Hello everyone and welcome back to Chronos Plays Virtue's Last Reward. Today we're going back to the past and seeing what the hell's going on here. It doesn't look like we'll have another escape room, but you never know. Ow. Ow, 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 ow. Damn it. Feels like my head's gonna explode. Wait. Question. How did the other timeline end? I'm guessing we just all got out? What happened to Luna? Where the hell am I? Oh. I selected the right one, right? Looks like an elevator,
No,
but...
this is one of the AB rooms.
Ah! Who the hell are you? And what the hell's an AB room?
Damn. I guess you did lose your memory after all.
Memory? Memory. Oh, come on! We don't need this. I remember. You're Phi. She grinned. What is this?
Check your bracelet.
It's a red pair. BP is 3.
Mine's the same.
Does this mean this is the beginning of the game? We've gone back to when we first woke up in the AB room.
No, not quite. I think we woke up a little earlier this time.
How do you know
Push
this?
the buttons on the side of your bracelet.
2 hours, 15 minutes.
We didn't wake up this long before the primary doors opened last time.
Guess not.
I think we're about an hour early.
Wait a minute. If you're right...
Akane might still be alive.
Okay, but that doesn't explain where the hell she was in the other
We
timeline.
got back before Dio killed her. I think.
Then...
Right. We're here for one reason.
Kill Dio. To stop her from being killed, or that, sure.
Exactly.
Let's move. We need to get out of here
Don't need
fast.
to tell me twice. Let's go.
Are you giving me a What? What? Wait a minute. Hold up. Don't I already have the password? But I need to turn this on. We don't need to look here. This is our past, remember? That means we just repeating history. You see what I'm getting at? Exactly. Hurry up and open it. Okay, we just need to do that. Yeah, I got the password. It's fine. It's over here. Elevator. Should I get the file? Sun... Star... She's gonna yell at me, right? Okay, opened it. No! That's the wrong password! We need the other one. Okay, fine. You don't have to yell at me. Jesus Christ, it's just rude. And we can come over here and be like, star, sun, moon. Happy now? God. There, it's open. Good work. Hurry up and grab the cracker. Cracker? Ah, damn it, I meant key. How the hell? Just shut up and do it. Alright, got the cracker. You sure you don't want to do the puzzle, though? Alright, let's put the key in. For God's sake, just do it already! No need to yell. Good. Looks like that worked. Push the button. I know. I don't need to ask you every time. Then why the hell are you asking? Hurry up in. Right. I'm going. 10, 9, 8, 1, done! Alright, the top opens up, that's right. Hey, you pushed the button. Bite me. You were taking too long. We're on a schedule here. Ugh. Guess. Fine, I climbed up through the hatch and out onto the top of the AB room. It took us only a moment to spot them. Akane! Behind her was Dio. He was moving quickly and quietly with a knife glinting in his right hand. Shit! There was no time to yell. I scrambled down from the top of the AV room. Vi wasn't following me. When I looked back, she was still standing on the roof. Vi, what the hell are you doing? Get down here, and... Before I could finish, she moved. She ran across the roof, launched herself in the air like she just don't care. Drop kick! Drop kick! Surprisingly no panty shot, actually. I gotta admit, I'm proud of you, game. What the hell?
He's fine.
That's unfortunate.
Just unconscious.
Snap his neck. I bent down and held my fingers to his mouth. He was still breathing, so I snapped his neck.
He probably has no idea what happened to him.
I went down like a sack of potatoes.
He had it coming.
Oh, yes. I heard footsteps come to a stop right in front of us. I looked up.
So you came.
You look high as a kite.
I've been waiting for you. You're here to hear the rest, right?
Wait. Just wait a minute. What the hell is your deal? How can you be so calm? If you hadn't shown up now, you'd...
Have been stabbed in the heart by this young man and died.
Right.
Yes.
You sure you don't want to kill him?
Although, that reminds me, I haven't thanked you yet. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome.
I very much appreciate you saving me.
That what?
Hold on. How do you know about being stabbed by Dio? Are you an Esper too?
Yes, indeed I am.
You know someone named Terra?
I am able to jump through time, just like you.
And what the hell were you thinking? If you knew he was going to stab you, why were you going to let him do it?
Because I had to.
You what?
Think back. Why are you here? If I hadn't been killed by Dio, no one else would have been murdered. Consequently, your own abilities would never have manifested.
Oh no. Okay.
I did explain, didn't I? The purpose of the AB project was to send the two of you to the past. Or your minds, at least.
So when you were bedazzling your robe, why'd you choose that pattern? Because it looks so uneven, and it doesn't look good.
In order for that to happen, some death was necessary. When a human brain is faced with danger, its processing speed increases. Information is processed more quickly, and time almost seems to slow. A few seconds can feel like an eternity.
Yeah, tell me about it. He says every time he wakes up.
Itself isn't enough to send oneself through time. The amplitude of the consciousness is simply too small. In order to increase the amplitude, we need to slow down the brain before the increase happens. It's a little like a slingshot.
Okay.
You pull back on the rubber band and then let go. The potential energy you stored in the band is released and converted into kinetic energy.
And then you knock out the eyeball of the kid next door.
What fires
I know,
the
I've been there.
out of the slingshot. Now, while a slingshot can only fire in one direction, your mind isn't similarly limited.
Well, okay, that's not exactly true, because, like, you can move it to angles. You could also, like, maybe pull it in the opposite direction and fire backwards. Like, fire it backwards than it's intended. It's like a rubber band. That's not a very good analogy.
When the bullet of your consciousness is fired from the slingshot of your brain, it travels past the three-dimensional world and into the four-dimensional one. From that perspective, time is no longer fixed.
Wasn't there a Simpsons episode about that?
In other words, you can travel to the future, the past, whenever you like. Your consciousness has been released from the three-dimensional cage. In order for that to happen, I had to infect you with Radical 6.
Rude. Whoa, what?
We're infected with Radical 6?
Oh, so we're gonna die in that other timeline. Thanks!
Yes. Don't you remember, Sigma? Luna should have told you about it in another timeline.
Are you sure? Infecting all of these people with such a horrible disease?
Yeah, that's right. We were all, yeah, I remember the speed up and stuff like that. So yeah, we all, except for Alice and Cork, are gonna die, huh?
Every single one of you has been infected.
Should have made more copies of that drug.
Well, apart from Luna, of course.
She's gonna be alright, right? You're not gonna shut her down?
Unfortunately, it was necessary. We needed to slow your minds in order to store up your potential energy. Then we provided a dire situation that would accelerate your processing speed. The result is what you are now experiencing. Your
An acid trip.
consciousness now occupies four-dimensional space-time. Even that, however, wasn't enough. You had the ability to travel, but your memories could easily be lost during the trip. If the project was to succeed, you had to be able to retain everything you learned in each reality. That was the reason you were forced to jump so many times. With each jump, your ability to remember improved.
You can thank the notepad on my phone for that.
Eventually, you would be able to retain everything. That is why we made you play the A-B game. That was why you had to select different chromatic doors. By forcing specific choices, we could cause you to make more jumps.
Can I ask you about that dice game, though? Because I didn't like it. I get it. I think I finally understand. Well, okay, there's a lot of things I don't understand, but all of what you've just told me makes sense. Sure. You did all this so that Fi and I could jump through four-dimensional space with our memories intact,
Yes.
right? But why did you need us to do that? People have died for this. I mean, let's count how many different ways people have died. Murder, antimatter explosions, suicide. I've died, so has Fi, so have you. Alice has died more than everyone. Luna was the most tragic one, though. So why do all this? What does it matter that Fi and I can jump through time?
Haven't I told you? Death was unavoidable. You are all destined to die. Sacrifices had to be made for the sake of the project.
Already know that. What I'm asking you is why. What is so goddamn important that it's worth all of this?
I'm sure you'll figure it out eventually.
Super kicker!
What? Just when is eventually?
In a future not very far from now.
Is that the third game? Bullshit! That's not good enough. Why can't you tell us now? Stomp on Dio's neck! Instead of answering, Connie knelt down next to Dio and picked up his knife off the floor.
I'm going to keep this with me.
Don't change the
But
subject!
it's almost time.
What are you talking about? We got plenty of time.
No, in a few moments, you'll return to the original timeline.
What?
This is the way it has to be. Don't fight it. Logomorph.
Yes.
What?
Logomorph?
You call him Zero Jr. His official designation is Logomorph.
That's a stupid-ass name, Akane.
Logomorph, this is an order. Unlock my bracelet.
Compliance.
Can you unlock my bracelet too?
Now, everything is in place. I have put the bracelet onto Dio. All we have to do is place his body in the 5th AB room.
That's the one Quark is in, right?
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, Connie.
Correct. I will move him. I will also put your bodies back into the 3rd AB room. Once that's done, I will reset its puzzle to an unsolved state.
Why do you need to do all that?
To recreate the history that you remember.
Okay, so this is why she wasn't in...
Your
Okay.
consciousness is about to leave your body and
At least
return
they
to
explain
the-
that, right?
Your body will be emptied, and your other consciousness will jump back in.
That seems messed up, but
If
sure.
your bodies aren't back in the third AB room by then, it would be bad.
So you're saying some version of us is going to wake up in that room and repeat the same history again? Well, I guess this could actually be our second or third time.
You are exactly correct. Lastly, I'm going to leave this with you.
She paused and pulled something out of her pocket. There was a small key attached to a string.
I'll tie it onto your ankle so that you won't lose it. All right, Sigma?
I am not a child, but thank you. What does it say on there?
Tu fui ego eris.
I love Egos. Lego my ego, Gane.
It's Latin. It means, what you are, I was. What I am, you will be.
Yes.
What am I supposed to do with it?
It will help you meet someone who's very important.
What?
Go. Return to the future. You won't be alone.
I know Phi's gonna be
I
there.
will be at your side, watching over you.
Honestly, that's not very reassuring, Gane.
Now hurry.
This is the second time you've messed with a lot of people's lives. Wait, I still... Goodbye. Okay, so to be continued, you goddamn... Sure. Now they're just messing with me. Down here? Okay, I guess that's still in the timeline, sure. Yeah?
Oh, looks like you're awake.
Hi, what happened? Am I infected? We're all infected. We need to make copies of that Elsevier. Is this the infirmary?
Why are we here?
Do you know what happened at the AB gate?
No.
Kay and I went back to the infirmary, but...
We waited and waited, and the two of you never returned.
So we went to the warehouse to check on you.
We found you passed out in front of the AB rooms.
Kay and I hurried back here with you.
I looked over at Phi and met her eye. Do you remember what happened just now?
You mean what happened a long time ago?
Yeah, you got him pretty good, huh? Dropkick!
Yeah, I remember all right.
Hey, what are you guys talking about?
Dropkicking Dio, it was awesome. Quark!
Top liver?
Yes!
Back among the conscious and not psychotic, huh?
Yeah, thanks. Grandpa told me what you did. Thanks for finding the medicine for us.
Yeah, I'm kind of regretting giving it to you two, because we're gonna need more copies of that. No problem, all in a day's work. Although I wouldn't mind a little swimsuit
Really
accident.
grabbing at straws here, aren't you?
Yes. Hey, I wasn't talking to Quark. That would be... Yes, that is sick, Phi. That was an offer for Alice. What would be the point of that? Well, she's not wearing a goddamn shirt. Her in a swimsuit would be more covering than what...
Not really my point.
Oh my god. It's not even... That doesn't even make any goddamn sense.
Oh, whatever. Forget about that.
Clover's basically wearing a swimsuit.
Now that you guys are awake, all we gotta do is open the number 9 door.
Huh?
What are you talking about?
Look at your bracelet.
Sweet, 10. I have 10 BP.
I've got 15 BP. That means I got 6 more points while I was out.
But how?
You've been asleep for more than 2 hours.
That's a good nap.
We've played the AB game 3 times.
3 times?
Of course, the color and group assignments were shuffled around each time.
And not one of you guys actually left? That's surprising, because most of you are all assholes, except for Luna.
But no matter who voted, everyone chose Ally. And now all of us have enough to leave.
Whoa. Are you gonna be alright, Luna? I was stunned. How had everyone cooperated long enough to raise all their BP to past 9? Good question. Was it because Akane hadn't been killed? Without a death to start things off, maybe we'd be less suspicious of one another. Or could the bombs have had something to do with it? We'd all joined forces against Dio, and Vi and I had been able to disarm all the bombs. All of us had banded together against the common enemy and overcome a tremendous threat, perhaps had strengthened our bonds. Which, I had to admit, would be somewhat ironic. After all, Dio had planted the bombs that forced us all to work together against him. This must have been what Akane was talking about.
Haven't I told you death was unavoidable?
So we're killing Dio.
Sacrifices had to be made
For the project. We just heard that.
Let's go.
So
Let's open the door and get out of here.
I got a key on my foot though. Or ankle. Wait. What about him? After some discussion, we decided to leave Dio behind. Yes! Alice was the only holdout. She complained about wanting to take him back to her superiors, but after I mentioned they'd come back to investigate after we escaped and deal with Dio, then she reluctantly complied.
All right, let's get going.
We could also just snap his neck, though. That'd be fine. Gotta get in one last map screen, right? Maybe last map screen? I have no idea. Warehouse A. Everybody ready? I'm gonna open it.
Yes, just get on with it.
Everyone else swallowed and nodded. I grabbed the lever and pulled it down. I would just kind of walk past it now. Why wait? Just go. Just go. Just crouch down and do a duck walk.
The number 9, it will...
Yeah, 9 seconds. Got it. All right, everyone. Let's move. Am I still infected? I didn't need to tell them twice. The room inside was clearly a loading elevator. It looked sort of like a large plate on top of a huge pedestal. I ran to the center of the plate and turned around. The number 9 door stood wide open.
2, 1, 0. The number 9 door is closing.
You just hear Akane on the other side. Wait, no, you weren't supposed to leave.
The number 9 door has closed.
I kind of thought we were going to be staying in there to use that key.
The Nonary Game. Thank you for your participation.
But I guess not.
As the game is over,
That's a slow-ass elevator, you're right. Couldn't put us on that elevator? Come on now. Really? Yeah, skip. It's not going any faster. That's so rude. That's so rude.
Looks like we did it.
Yes, we should keep moving.
Are you gonna be alright, Luna? Beyond the door was a wide hallway that ended in a very solid wall. To the left, we found a very familiar-looking door. We pushed it open and went in. There we go. The pressure exchange chamber.
You know what this place is?
Yes, it's Peck. Yeah, sort of. This whole facility is pressurized, apparently. I think the idea is to keep the air outside and consequently the virus from getting inside. That means that if we want to go out, we have to decompress so we match the outside air pressure. This room here is where you prepare for going into the actual pressure exchange room. See all those suits over there? Not enough for everyone. I figured we need to put those on and head into the decompression room downstairs.
Whoa, hold on a minute.
You're saying the air outside is full of that horrible virus?
Yes. Yeah, that's what it seems like. Of course, according to Akane, we were all already infected with Radical 6, so the whole room seemed a little pointless.
Why? How did all this happen?
Did they?
No, that's not possible.
We've come this far. We can't turn back now.
I mean, we're all gonna die
Let's
anyways.
go outside. There's no way to know what's really going on until we do.
All right.
No one else objected. We all donned the protective suits and headed downstairs to the decompression room. As soon as we were inside, the process began. Through my helmet, I could hear the soft hiss of air being sucked out of the room. We stood there for several minutes, waiting for the process to finish. It was boring. No one talked about anything. And at last it did, and we heard the door begin to open. Beyond it was another decompression chamber. We repeated the process 2 more times before we reached the final door and opened it. The dead, bleak landscape wasn't a surprise for me. I'd seen it before in another timeline. The others hadn't, however, and although I couldn't see their faces through the visor of their helmet, I heard more than a few gasps out of the radio. For a few long moments, we just stood there astonished.
Where the hell are we?
The desert, I guess?
I figured that out. I mean, which one?
I don't know, but I think I know what day it is.
Hmm?
Look at the moon. It's red, right? That means today's the total lunar eclipse.
So?
But that...
Remember the astronomy magazine in the lounge?
We already know that time is not the right time, though, given what she said to Junpei, right?
Well, the next eclipse like this was going to be on December 31st, 2028. So...
Wait a minute. Let me get this straight. Are you suggesting we were sleeping for a week after we were abducted?
Oh god, no. Much longer. Wherever we were must have been far away from any city. The air was clearer than I've ever seen it. And the stars, the sky was full of them. More stars than I'd ever seen in my life. I could even spot the hazy arm of the Milky Way. But the most striking feature was the moon. It was blood red and massive. Much bigger, in fact, than I remember it being. Then, as I watched, a black spot began to move across the surface. It was hard to see details, but it looked circular. The spot continued to move across the moon, heading for the right edge. What's that?
Well, the moon's shadow, actually.
The moon's shadow? I frowned. That didn't make any sense.
Zero told me to stay quiet. I think he was worried I'd spill the beans on his operation. He said if I didn't toe the line, he wouldn't just kill me. He'd kill Quark, too. And I agreed, like an idiot, and brought Quark with me.
That was very dumb of you, Junpei.
Just so I could see her.
You put your grandchild, your adopted grandchild / probably son, I guess, was more accurate, in harm's way because you can't get over Akane, who, abducted you way back in the day and put your life through, just horrific actions one after another. You died in multiple timelines, not just then, but in this one too. And you put your child in danger for that. You're a dumbass, Junpei.
Such an idiot.
Stupei, there we go.
So, that being the case, might as well start with this. I meant what I said before. That up there is the moon's shadow.
What the hell are you saying?
Think about it. If that's the moon's shadow, then what's it falling on?
That's Earth?
Was I right early? Oh, that's messed up. Why is it red like that?
You get from a lunar eclipse. And again, this isn't a lunar eclipse. It's a solar eclipse. Anybody in the black spot down there is looking up at the moon, covering the sun.
What? No way. If that's Earth, then where the hell are we?
The moon, of course. This is the lunar surface. We were just inside a moon base. No way. No, you've got to be lying. How do you expect us to believe that? This can't be the moon.
Yeah,
Take your helmet off. Let's test that theory.
that's pretty ridiculous. Besides, if this was the moon, how do you explain the gravity? The moon only has 1/6 of the Earth's gravity. So what's this?
She picked up a rock and dropped it.
See? That looked perfectly normal.
Yes, it looked that way.
Luna?
You were right about the gravity in a way. I was one of the people who knew this wasn't Earth. Well, I suppose I'm not people.
You are a person. Never say that again.
Excuse me?
Please just listen. Alice, you were infected with Radical 6. Then we gave you the Accelavir, which cured you. The Radical 6 isn't completely gone, though. Some of its symptoms stick around for a while.
What symptoms?
Well, Radical 6 can slow down your brain's processing speed by the root of 1/6. It can take a while for your brain to get back up to speed. Every one of us has been infected. In other words, all of our brains have been processing information at a much
But we
slower
got.
speed.
Then you. Why didn't you make Luna? Why didn't you make copies if you knew that?
If you evaluated the root of
Obviously, you already
1/6,
knew that, but you were under orders not to say anything. But at the same time, you should have made copies.
that means our brains are running at something slightly less than half speed.
How are we talking normally then? Are we not talking normally then? Are we talking more like this? That would be extremely annoying.
As you said before, the moon's gravity is about 1/6 that of Earth's. The time that it takes for an object to fall is inversely proportional to the square root of the gravitational acceleration. Since the gravity is lower on the moon, that means the time increases. I guess that's a little technical.
A little.
Let me give you an example.
You don't have to.
Say you drop an apple from a height of 4.9 meters. It will take approximately 1 second to hit the ground. On the moon, however, that time would be 1 second times root 6, which would be approximately 2.45 seconds. I used 4.9 meters because it matches up with the acceleration of gravity nicely, but it could be anything. The gravity constant is, well, a constant. You could drop something from 10 centimeters or 10 meters and it would be the same. Does that make sense?
Yeah, sure.
So now we've established that on the moon, things fall 6 times slower than they do on Earth. That being the case, what would happen if someone's brain slowed down by root 1/6?
They would talk probably very funny.
To them, 2.45
Very slowly,
seconds would be
anyways.
like 1 second.
They might. The speed of the talking probably wouldn't be like what I was just pretending. Like it'd probably be more like, "Hey, do you know what day it is?" Something like that.
But it's not hypothetical. That's what's been happening to every one of us.
How does it affect you? Because you committed suicide in one of that route where everyone committed suicide, right? Were you just acting like that because you were ordered to act like that? Or were you actually infected?
Saying that's the reason we didn't notice the weaker gravity? Are you sure you didn't notice anything? Think back. Huh? You and Sigmund Phi said something about it in the lounge. About how you felt weird.
It's kind of like my body isn't really mine. I'm sort of floating.
Oh, and then Phi can jump really high. It seemed insane, but what Luna said made sense. It always does, because it's Luna. In fact, it explained Phi's apparently superhuman strength quite well. Thoughts?
Wait, this is crazy. That can't possibly be Earth out there. Look at it. I've seen photos of Earth and it's blue and green and beautiful. That thing is just red.
Before we get into that,
Oh no.
I'll tell you something.
We gotta tell everyone that it's not been like a week.
This isn't New Year's Eve in 2028. Today is January 27th.
In 29?
No,
Don't tell me. 30?
still no.
And just
Said a half a century ago, right?
It's 74. 2074.
No. That's insane. That would mean we were abducted more than 45 years ago.
Don't blame me if you don't believe me, but it's the truth.
How can you be sure?
It's not that hard. Quark and I left Earth on January 23rd, 2074. Solar eclipses are easy to predict. We've known that there'd be one on the 27th for a long time. That's just science. Nobody can change that.
People can try, though.
But why is the Earth red?
That's a long story. About 45 years ago, on April 13th, 2029, there were 18 annihilation reactors operating in various parts of the world.
I'm assuming they annihilated.
On the 13th, all 18 of them went up, all at the same time.
That would be probably catastrophic.
The explosion was about 180,000 times as powerful as the atom bomb they dropped on Hiroshima.
Oh, what? Why?
Suppose it started a few months before that. The government had a test site for a future Mars mission out in the middle of Nevada. On December 31st, 2028, there was an accident. Well, accident doesn't quite convey the right sense of the thing. The point is, Radical 6 claimed its first victims there, then escaped. Didn't take long for it to spread to the rest of the world. Like Luna explained, the virus slows your brain down, but eventually, it also makes you kill yourself.
We know.
Pretty soon, the bodies started to pile up. Some people would take a dive off a building or shoot themselves in the head. You know, the classics.
Yeah, you know, the classic hits of suicide.
For some, it was poison, or fire, or asphyxiation, or the noose. Plenty of people jumped in front of trains or cars.
Oh, yeah. I've seen on video someone do that to a train once. It's not
One pilot
good.
of a passenger airline drove his plane into the ground.
That's fucked.
Most forms of transportation ground to a halt pretty fast. That meant food couldn't get distributed, and thousands of people who weren't even infected died from starvation.
Damn.
Everywhere you went, there were just piles of corpses, covered in flies and rats and crows.
Some is Snake's dead then, right? And 7?
I don't know what hell's like, but I imagine it's a lot like that.
If they're not here?
After a while, people who managed to avoid getting infected started trying to get in touch with one another.
Horrible decision.
They got a hold of some radios and organized a couple meetings. There was only one thing to discuss, of course. How could they get rid of Radical 6? The answer, they decided, was purification. They figured they could just roast the surface of the Earth, and that'd kill the virus off for good.
Oh, that is just a dumb idea.
On April 13th in 2029, they put their plan into effect. That plan was to detonate
All the reactors, yeah.
Now the truth is, that's mostly just rumor. Nobody really knows what happened, but I've got my own theories. I think that the bombers had already been infected, and when they died, they took billions with them. The ultimate if I die, you're coming with me gesture.
I mean, in fair, I can respect that kind of gesture. It's still fucked up to do with innocent people, though.
I bet you money they'd all lost it long before they got to the reactors. Killing most of the world, no matter how bad things had gotten, was not a sane plan.
You think?
Even if it wasn't directly responsible. Radical 6 killed most of the people on Earth.
I'm gonna have to ask you to speak up, though, Ten, because I can barely hear you over this music.
Anyway, why it happened isn't that important. Point is, it happened.
Clover doesn't know you're Junpei in this route, does he? Yeah, you should probably tell her that.
Part of nuclear winter? Well, that's basically what we got. The explosions threw a ton of crap up into the stratosphere, where it joined up with smoke and ash from all the fires. It blotted out the sun for 7 years. Plants withered and animals died by the millions. The few humans who were left banded together to survive. They were rough times. Eventually, they were over, though. The sky cleared and the sun came back. Plants started blooming again, and the animals that hadn't died out completely began to reappear. Things weren't quite back to normal, though.
I would imagine.
It's been 45 years now, but there's still quite a bit of dust and ash in the air. That's what you're seeing. You know why a sunset's red? Well, this is the same thing. Blue and green light have short wavelengths, and they scatter when they run into debris in the air. Red light, on the other hand, has a longer wavelength, which means it'll get a lot farther when the air's dirty. So there you are. The Earth looks red because that's the only color of light that can make it through the atmosphere.
This is a happy game. I was speechless. What could I possibly say? There was no reason for Ten to lie to us, unless he was an asshole, and we already know he is, so we were standing on the moon, looking at the Earth. It was 2074, but why? Why were we here? Why were we then? Well, where were we then? Right? Yeah. No, why were we then? Okay. I was so lost in thought I barely noticed Phi's approach.
Hey, Sigma, I think I figured something out.
A window popped up in the inside of my helmet with Whisper in the corner. It's like an old MMO chat. She seemed to be using a circuit only we could hear. Yeah? What is
I
it?
figured out why there's an extra E.
An extra E? Oh, you mean in graffiti?
Yeah, the one on floor B. I think it's an anagram, just like on floor A.
What's Anna say this time?
God damn it, Sigma. Knock it off. Memento mori if the ninth lion ate the sun.
I don't even get the joke, but it's just the reaction was hilarious.
If you rearrange the letters, you get, the man on the moon rules the infinite time.
Is that me? Do I rule the infinite time?
See?
You figure that all in your head, huh?
6 E's to get that. So they stuck an extra one in ninth.
The man on the moon rules the infinite time.
I think it's a message for us from Zero Senior and Akane. Remember what she was telling us?
We created the AV project for one purpose.
To torture you.
To transport the consciousnesses of two people into the past. Those two people are you, Sigma, and you, Vi.
So what, you want us to go back and stop the explosions? So, what are you getting at?
My God, you're slow.
It's the Radical
You
6.
don't get it? They're saying we rule the infinite time.
No, it says the man rules. It's fine, but you can do it too.
Infinite time. They weren't just talking about having us jump a couple hours. I think they're planning to send us back. Way back.
Oh, wait a minute. Are you saying you think we're going to send us back 45 years?
Yeah. I'd bet on it.
So the ultimate purpose of the AB project is to send us back in time to that catastrophe 10 was talking about.
I think so.
That doesn't make any sense, though. I mean, we came from that same time period before it, actually. So why bring us here and then send us back?
Well, Akane should be able to tell us the rest. Let's go pay her a visit.
Sure. Do you know where she is?
I've got an idea. Come on, think. Remember what she said when she gave you the key?
Tu fui ego eris.
Gotta get those egos. Oh, the grave. The one in the garden. Oh, but
Well, come on, what are you waiting for?
Is the key gonna unlock the... Okay.
Let's go.
Sure, bye everyone. We turn and ran back into the pressure exchange chamber. The others followed close behind.
What are you doing?
We missed the place. We're going back.
Did you forget something?
My sanity. We're going to have a talk with someone.
Who?
You really need me to spell it out? The person behind this all.
Akane.
What?
I'll take that as a yes. Let me accompany you then.
Okay.
Wait, why do you know about Akane?
I'll tell you when we get there.
Oh, right. You're like a clone of me, right?
Now, if you please. I'm coming with you.
That's what it was implied earlier when we took off his mask.
You folks just said the magic word.
God, you gotta think with the head on your shoulder sometimes.
So am I.
Hey, is this Akane you're talking about?
Yeah, you know her real well.
Wait, you're serious? What the hell is going on?
Ah, shut up! Just shut up. Come if you want. We don't have much. We don't need to do a roll call. Once we get there, Connie will explain everything. With that, we headed back through the airlock. That's right, they never really explained the K shit. How much longer is this game? Because I kind of thought this was going to be the final episode, that's why I haven't ended the episode yet. So, yeah. I mean, it's going to be a long one, I guess, nonetheless, but... Are they going to be able to wrap everything up? And it doesn't seem like they're going to be able to wrap everything up. We really don't need to see this game. You could have actually just faded to black and sent us back to the garden. But that's cool. Yeah. Are they going to be able to explain what the actual purpose of these A-B games were and explain exactly what the hell K is?
The number 9 door on floor A is shut forever once the game ends. Assuming Zero Jr. was telling the truth, of course. But the door on floor B...
Yeah. Thought we might be able to take the lift to it. And it looks like I was right.
Any idea where Akane might be?
Yeah, the grave.
The grave in the garden.
Yeah, don't worry. I don't think she's buried there or anything. Chances are she's alive. Just in the grave. She would have suffocated! Unless she has like an oxygen tank with her. That lasts for like how many hours we were here. Anyways, let's move. To the garden. Really? Oh, game. Yeah, so she has to actually have like an oxygen tank here because we've been here for a while now. And sure, coffins can hold some air. Not a lot. Not a lot at all.
Is Akane really under here?
I think so.
What do we do? Are we gonna dig her out?
Probably could. No. I don't think we'll have to do anything like that. See the keyhole in the grave? If I just insert this here, I'll pull the key off my ankle and fit it into the hole. I twisted it to the right until I heard something unlock. With a quiet grinding, the grave began to shift. Oh, she's in one of those. I'm assuming there's oxygen in there.
What is this?
It's a treatment pod.
Doesn't look like a coffin.
Yeah, it's a treatment pod.
Oh my god.
It is, isn't it?
The glass on the cover was frosted over, making it opaque. We couldn't see who or what was in it.
Let's see what's inside.
She grabbed a hold of the lever on the side of the pod.
No good.
Pull.
I think it's locked.
Well, unlock it. What?
Treatment pod TP00. Stage 1. Defrosting complete.
Wait, Luna, we haven't heard from you in a while. Did you come back here with us?
Stage 2 will be complete in 10 minutes.
10 minutes?
Once stage 2 is complete, the lock will automatically disengage.
Right, cold sleep.
What?
These pods can put people into cold sleep, and it uses something called CAS to freeze human bodies without destroying the cells.
So, Ms. Akane's like an ice cube?
Sure. I think so.
We gotta wait till she melts?
Yeah. We could shatter her, maybe.
So how about you tell us your story while we wait, Kay? Specifically, why do you know Akane?
Because he was, like, raised by her, I think? Or no, actually, he wasn't. He met her when he was 18.
I remembered.
What do you remember?
Everything. I was born and raised in this facility. It's called Rhizome 9.
That's such a dumb
A
name.
rhizome is an underground plant stem that spreads by sending out roots.
Thank you, I already looked it up earlier.
It kind of makes sense, doesn't it?
No.
This facility is a little like a rhizome. Supposedly, that's why they call these installations that. The number comes from the facility's number. There are 54 rhizomes on the moon, and this is the 9th one.
Figures.
Well, I suppose the other ones don't really matter to you, do they?
No.
In any event, I grew up here with Akane and Zero Senior. I watched them create the AB project.
The AB project?
Yes. Its purpose is to send Phi and Sigma, or their consciousnesses at least, to the past.
Back 45 years, right?
Yes.
So, you want us to change history, huh? Go back and keep Radical 6 from getting out, and stop the reactors from exploding.
Wouldn't that mean you don't exist anymore, Kay?
That's our mission?
Well, not exactly.
What do you mean?
It's true that the ultimate goal of the project is to keep Radical 6 from spreading to the general population. But even if you do make it back, you won't be able to do much. By now, it's already too late.
Too late?
What do you mean?
Let me begin at the beginning. You might be thinking that Zero Senior and Akane were the ones who created all this. But that's not entirely correct. They only followed the histories they'd already seen. It was the only choice they had. Nothing less than the future of mankind is at stake. We need the two of you to jump through timelines while maintaining your memories. That is why you had to play the AB game, and why the chromatic doors were necessary. By forcing multiple options, you could make numerous jumps. We speculated that jumping more would strengthen your memories. The puzzles were also there for a purpose. Some theories hold that a moment of insight when you solve a puzzle strengthens your connection to the fourth dimension. That was the reason for the puzzles. Your infection with Radical 6 was also a vital part of our plan.
It's also very rude.
By slowing down your brain's processing speed, we can store your potential.
Can you just take off your armor yet, dog?
With that energy stored up, we just had to provide a life or death situation to launch your consciousness into the fourth dimension. Like a bullet from a slingshot.
Okay, really not a good metaphor, but sure.
Wait, hold on just a minute here. You keep talking about Sigma and Phi, but what about the rest of us? Why did you bring us here?
That's simple. In earlier histories, you were all here in Rhizome 9. We needed you here to accurately replicate those histories. Although I suppose that's probably not a good enough explanation for you. In a sense, though, it is the truth. Our primary goal was to replicate history. The rest is... Yes, I suppose I should explain.
Sure, why not?
Very well. I will try and do so in a way you can understand. First, Alice and Clover. They were abducted 45 years and 1 month ago, on December 22nd, 2028. The location is Earth, of course. More specifically, Los Angeles, California. Correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
After being kidnapped, your bodies were sent to a facility under Akane's direction. You were placed in treatment pods and immediately put into cold sleep. 4 months later, you arrived at this facility. The date you finally arrived was April 14th, 2029. Your trip from Earth to this facility was aboard a spaceship powered by an annihilation engine.
Still using those? Well, I guess the bombs hadn't gone off yet, right?
Following your arrival, your pods were placed...
Well, actually, no, they're annihilation here, too.
Does that make sense?
Are you telling me we were sleeping in those pods here for 45 years?
Yes, in preparation for this day.
But why? What do you need us for?
You are an Esper, aren't you, Clover? I mean that you are able to access the fourth dimension. Am I wrong?
Did Akane tell you?
In a manner of speaking. As I've already explained, the purpose of this project is to send Sigma and Phi's consciousnesses to the past. Espers are able to sort of resonate with one another, which can amplify their power.
Ah, okay.
You understand? This is why we brought you here, Clover.
What about me?
We needed your help, Alice, to deactivate Dio's bomb.
She didn't really help with that.
Huh?
But I didn't do anything.
Yeah.
But you did. In another history, you were able to perform prime decomposition on the 25-digit integer that Dio left behind. Only you could do that sort of thing. Because
Or a
of the
computer.
mathematics, we were about to determine that Dio had planted the bombs. Then we were able to question him and get the password for the number 31. Finally, we used
So
that
you can
information
you
to
jump through
stop
time
the
as well, or
bomb this
were you
time.
just told all this?
Without your help, Alice, we would have been reduced to nothing more than so much space dust. This history exists because of your presence. Now, let me explain why we needed Tenmyoji and Quark. Tenmyoji is simple. We needed you for the same reason we needed Clover.
Because he's an Esper.
You are able to access the fourth dimension. Almost half a century ago, you used that ability to save a young girl, didn't you?
Why are we just not calling him Junpei?
Yeah.
We needed you to resonate with Sigma and Phi, so we brought you here. All it took was a messenger.
You want to see Akane.
And then you endangered your goddamn son's life.
If you do, come with me. I was a fool and fell for it.
And you brought Quark with you.
Like a dumbass.
In fact, you insisted that he come.
Like a negligent parent.
Yeah, I know. I guess you were worried about leaving me alone, huh? He kept saying he couldn't run off to the moon and leave me behind.
I'm sorry, Quark. If I hadn't been so stupid and selfish, none of this would have happened to you.
100% true.
I never thought this would happen. Can you ever forgive me?
Oh, don't worry about it.
Say no,
I
Quark.
mean, I agreed to come with you. I thought the moon would be way more interesting than boring old Earth. What kid would turn that down?
Smart one.
We didn't see the messenger after we got on the ship. It was on autopilot. As soon as we got in, and headed straight for the moon. During the trip, Zero told me to keep quiet once we got there. I don't remember anything after we landed.
Then there was a bunch of that white smoke, and we passed out. And when I woke up, I was in the AB room.
Now, Dio, his real name is Left, and he's the leader of a terrorist organization called the Myrmidons. He was ordered to come here. The Myrmidons are under the control of an organization called Free the Soul, which is in turn controlled by a man known as Brother. It was Brother who orchestrated the release of Radical 6 into the general population 45 years ago.
What a dick.
Do you remember what Phi mentioned earlier?
She mentions a lot of stuff,
The
dog.
ultimate purpose of the AB project is to change history and keep Radical 6 from being released. If we succeed, that would be bad for Brother and his organization. Our success would prevent them from creating the ideal world they're working toward. That is why Brother sent Left, his trusted lieutenant, to this facility.
We really should kill them.
They needed to stop the AB project. So, Dio was given two tasks. The first was to eliminate Akane, the architect of the AB project. The second was to join the AB game and win it. If Dio won the game, the AB project would not be completed, at least not in that timeline. In other words, in that world, the project would have been stopped. If things didn't go as planned, Dio was given a contingency plan. If you cannot murder Akane and win the game, destroy Rhizome 9. Hence, the bombs.
Can I ask you something?
Perhaps.
How did Brother know about the AB project?
He was also an Esper. We can set Brother aside for now, though. May I proceed?
I guess, yeah. I mean, that's kind of an important fact. No one objected. We were all curious.
Excellent. That explains everyone, save two, Luna and myself. Sigma and Phi already know the truth about Luna. I don't believe I should reveal any more, however. I think it would be more appropriate if you could ask Luna yourselves at a later time.
And you be nice to her, goddammit!
Would that be all right with you, Luna?
Yes, that's okay.
As for me, as I said before, I was born and raised here. The rest of you were brought to this facility, but I've never left. That makes me someone close to Zero Senior and Akane.
Hey, I've been wondering, who is Zero Senior?
You've already met him, Sigma, in another timeline.
Yes, that's her. Yeah, well, I saw a hologram. Still don't know who he is.
Stage 2 is complete. TP00 unlocking.
Toilet paper 00 unlocking.
It looks like it's finished. Shall we open the pod?
Sure. Yeah, let's do it. It is starting to have a thunderstorm outside. 1 second. Just in case. Just in case. All of us gathered around the pod. The glass was still covered with frost, hiding the contents.
Okay, let's get started then. Ready?
Vi laid her hand on the lever and looked around at us. I swallowed. Yeah, anytime.
All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1.
4. Oh, it's like the AB game thing. There's gonna be nothing inside, is there? Oh, it's me? What? Suddenly wait, what? Suddenly my head was full. How many copies of me are there? Suddenly my head was full of memories from another timeline. I've seen something like this before. The warehouse of floor B, in front of the white door. Kay was lying in front of me. I grabbed his mask and saw my own face. I never figured out who he really was. Why was there a man with my face underneath Kay's armor? It didn't make any sense. After I'd seen him, I was injected with turbocurine, and that was the end of that. But wait, if the person in the pod was the same person I'd seen on the floor of the warehouse, who was wearing Kay's armor?
You finally noticed. Didn't I tell you? You won't be alone. I will be at your side, watching over you.
Wow, Akane, you bulked up real fast. No. Oh my god, you're...
I am.
Doesn't make any goddamn sense. Is that a gun? No, it's the lock.
Akane Kurashiki.
It's you. June. I mean, Akane. But you're old.
Very old.
Yes, that's correct. I haven't spoken to you in a very long time, Clover. Or you, Junpei.
Junpei?
Akane, long time no see.
I could barely hear what they were saying. My mind was still reeling. But how did what do you mean? What do you mean? So wait, Kay in this timeline was Akane this entire time? The Kay in the other timeline was like a clone of me? I felt like all the air had been knocked out of me, and it was all I could do not to collapse right then and there.
When? How long?
Do you remember when the two of you saved me in the warehouse?
But why is Kay a clone of me? Yeah, the dropkick, it was pretty badass.
Once you saved me, you went back to your future. Well, your minds did, at least.
Your mouth doesn't work that well over there, does it, Akane?
I carried your bodies to the third AB room, and then took Dio's to the fifth.
Look, I'm not saying you're a liar. I find it very hard to believe that you carried anyone, though.
After that, I went into the first room and borrowed Kay's armor.
So by the time you and Clover came out, you'd already...
How the hell did you do that?
Yes.
You're old. Wait, that doesn't make any sense. Dio killed you, and then Luna took your body to the sixth room. You couldn't have been in Kay's armor.
No, it was me. In this timeline, at least. In this one, I wasn't murdered by Dio. You two saved me. It's just like Schrodinger's cat.
But what's with Kay?
Your actions in the future decided who would be inside the armor in the past.
That doesn't make any sense, but why is Kay me? No, that's nuts.
Alright, what about the other history? The one where you weren't saved. What happens then? Who's wearing the armor?
That's quite simple. The man in front of you.
Him?
That's correct. Whenever I'm not in the armor, he is.
What about the memory loss?
For my part, I confess that I lied.
You are a liar.
He, on the other hand, was telling the truth. Large doses of soporil can cause memory loss. I gave him a rather large dose.
So, who is he?
What do you mean? Wait. Actually, why is no one else freaking out that there's two of me?
You've never seen him before?
Yeah.
No.
What about the rest of you?
I have no idea who he is.
What?
I've never seen him before.
Me either.
Total stranger.
What? Hey, come on. What are you guys saying? Right here? Same face.
Huh?
Are you all right, Mr. Sigma? Did you hit your head or something?
Huh? Yeah, what? It didn't make any sense. Why didn't they recognize me?
Sigma, your consciousness can jump through time. You can inhabit your body in the past or in the future.
What does that mean?
Don't you get it?
No.
You've jumped to the future.
What?
From 45 years ago.
I looked around frantically. A pond. I ran to it and threw myself down on my knees. I crawling on all fours to approach the edge. My heart was hammering inside my chest. Calm down. I think I already know what's going to happen. I struggled to take deep breaths. Then slowly, peered into the pond looking for my reflection. I'm the garbage bin Setzer cosplayer? Also, how the hell did I didn't realize I had one eye? What? No, this can't be. This face.
It's your face, Dr. Sigma Climb. Although, to the you that's behind it now, it's your face 45 years from now. Zero, the mastermind of the AB project, is you.
And they all have their bracelets off, because now would be a very good time to say release the poison. What? No, that's not possible. That's bullshit.
No, it's the truth. Fighting it isn't going to do you any good. Please, Doctor.
Oh, that's why Luna called me Doctor. I'm not a doctor.
You will be a pioneer in the field of genetic engineering.
You're lying.
No, I'm not. You created him. Well, I suppose I should say you are going to create him.
Great.
His name is Kyle Climb. Your clone. That is why he looks just like a younger version of yourself. 23 years ago, in the biolab here in Rhizome 9, you created Kyle. Well, I suppose for you, that's still in the future.
So we can be nicer to him when, like, we're raising him?
When I said I was born and raised here, I was still pretending to be him. The gravity here is only 1/6 of Earth's. If nothing was done, the reduced gravity would cause his bones to be weaker than normal human ones. But you prepared for that. You gave him that armor.
So that little adorable but hilarious picture of him in that baby armor earlier was actually accurate? The poor dude's been living in armor this entire life?
Ever since he was born, he's lived inside of it.
Oh, that's horrible.
It kept his muscles and bones strong. He wasn't forced into it for the Nonary Game. He's been wearing it every day, all his life.
How do you use that to go to the bathroom and, like, eat? But why would I? Why would future me create a clone?
He was to be your spare. If something happened to you before the project began, he would take your place.
That's... Hopefully you didn't tell him that, because that's horrible.
I mentioned before that the AB projects A and B stood for after and before. That isn't all they mean, though. The A also means anima, and the B means body. Anima is another word for the soul, or the consciousness. Body is, well, exactly what it says on the tin.
Aluminum?
The past consciousness will go into the future body, and the future consciousness will go into the past body.
So wait, old Sigma's in the past? You better not be doing anything weird.
That was the chief goal of the project.
Wait, so the future person goes into the past person?
Sigma, do you remember the note you found in the garden?
Honestly, no.
You mean this, right?
Yes.
What? I do not remember this at all.
Ah, of course, it was you who investigated the garden in this timeline.
Yeah.
Sigma, take a good look at this. It's an illustration of the time jumps your consciousness is making. A is where everything began. December 25th, 2028. You inhaled the white smoke.
How the hell do you spread your legs that far in that car?
From there, you jumped to B. January 25th, 2074. You woke up in one of the AB rooms in Rhizome 9. You are in your own body, but it is 67 years
What,
old.
couldn't be two more?
Your consciousness has jumped 45 years into the future. I believe that may explain why you didn't notice the reduced lunar gravity. The body you woke up in was much older. Normally, you would have noticed that your muscles were much weaker. In this case, however, the lower gravity balanced that out.
Honestly, I don't think that's how that works, but okay.
Moving on, if you continue along this line, what happens next? You reach C, which is January 27th, 2074. That is today.
Whoa. Wait, what do you mean? Are you saying it's been 2 days since we woke up?
36 hours to be exact.
And what, we didn't sleep at all?
Have you already forgotten? You were all infected with Radical 6.
Alright.
The virus slowed your brain down. So yes, 36 hours of real time have passed. But to you, it only seemed like 14 hours and 40 minutes.
Actually, it kind of seemed like 40-ish hours.
Now comes the important part. After this, your consciousness will return to the past. It will re-emerge at point D. April 13th, 2029. You will return to your younger body.
Okay.
But that's the same day as the reactor explosions.
Oh, great.
Yes. That is why I said it will be too late. You will return to the past, but the events you would want to prevent will have already happened. The story does not end there, however. The line continues. After reaching point D, you will eventually return to B. But this time, you won't be jumping through time, or at least not at a rate faster than normal. Your consciousness will spend 45 years inhabiting the same body.
Oh, you mean living? You mean living?
Until you reach point B. Do you remember when B is Sigma?
January 25th, 2074. According to what you just told us, it's 36 hours ago.
Correct. That was when the consciousness of the 22-year-old Sigma jumped into the body of 67-year-old Sigma. So where did the older version of you go when you took his body?
Point A? December 25th, 2028, the day of this all started?
Yes, his consciousness will go back in time 45 years.
You better not be doing anything weird in my body.
For a period of time, he will inhabit your younger body. While your younger consciousness is elsewhere, he will be you in the past.
But once the body reaches point D, my 22-year-old conscious will come back to point C.
That's correct. When that happens, the older version of you will be ejected from your younger body and return to your body at C.
So it's rotating.
Rotating. I suppose you could put it that way. But look at this illustration closely.
I drew it myself.
What if you take all these lines and untangle them? You get one single line. It may look complicated, but in truth, it's a single straight path.
If you say so.
With one exception.
Could be the line that's jotting out, yeah.
Exactly. Point E is December 31st, 2028, the day of the total eclipse.
The day Red 6 got out of test facility.
By now, you've likely figured it out on your own. The purpose of the AB project was to get the consciousness of the 67-year-old Sigma from point B to point A.
Oh, son of a bitch. Is he like... Oh, no. Is he gonna try to... Am I gonna be in jail when I go back there?
If we can do that, we can change what happened 45 years ago.
So the old version of me will keep Rattlesnakes from getting out by jumping into my 22-year-old body on New Year's Eve 2028?
Yes. That is why this line could not be interrupted. In order for the 67-year-old version of you to reach point B, we first have to go through point D. In order to get to point D, we must jump from point C. And for point C to happen, we had to recreate everything that happened in this facility.
Sure.
That is why we have faithfully retraced history up to this point, so that we might save humankind from destruction.
In like a different timeline. It doesn't really anything to do with this timeline though, right?
And undo the horrors of the last 45 years.
Tell me one thing.
What is
There's
that?
just one thing. You said that point C is January 27, 2074, which is today. There's going to be a jump, and I'll jump to April 13th, 2029.
Yes, that's right.
But look, I'm still old. When is this jump supposed to happen?
Very soon. Yes.
Soon. And what's going to trigger it?
We need potential energy stored to send your consciousness into the fourth dimension. Fortunately, we now have plenty of that. Thanks, ironically, to Radical 6. All that remains is to launch your consciousness. Like a bullet from a slingshot.
You keep saying that. And how do you propose to do that?
Didn't I tell you? A crisis. A moment balanced between life and death. That can jumpstart your brain.
What do you mean?
Haven't figured it out. I mean this.
Are you gonna stab me? You're gonna fucking stab me. Dio's knife? No sooner were the words out of my mouth. Fi! Why are you going after Fi? I screamed and leapt towards them. Akane was already in motion, the knife driving towards Fi's chest. I was almost there. When I regained consciousness, I was on the floor. There was a dull pain in my chest. It felt like a cut, but something was in the way. It took a moment for me to realize that it was Akane's body laying on top of me. Junpei was extremely jealous. I twisted my neck and looked around. Nearby was an old tombstone. On it was written a few Latin words. Lego my ego. Did I just kill my old self? Well, what the hell, Akane? Fi, get her! Is that how this ends? You all be nice to Luna, goddammit! I'll haunt your asses if you are mean to her. Okay, what? Alright. I'm assuming that's it for the game, unless there's more paths that unlock after this. I'll let the... It's showing images, it's not just a black background, so I'm assuming we'll just let this play out for now. It's an extremely long episode today, to say the least. But, yeah, I guess I'm kind of confused. I guess it does kind of make sense. We never saw our face, did we, throughout the entirety of the game? Well, there was one point when Kay was dragging us. can't believe you brought your goddamn child here, Junpei, just so you could see Akane. The hell is wrong with you? And I can't believe Sigma was like, I want to see Alice in a swimsuit. She's already mostly naked, dog. Like, putting on a swimsuit is actually just gonna cover her up even more. Doesn't make any sense. So I was Setzer, which I guess kinda means I did get revenge on a lot of the people here, because a lot of them die. So yay. But also a little bit confusing as to how I never noticed that I was missing an eye. Or that I was very old. My arms looked like they were extremely young. So, Kyle was like my curated clone that I was going to use as a spare if something happened to me. Okay. And we did not raise him right at all, according to what he told us at one of the end of the routes. So, old Sigma, what the hell, dog? Is that it? Phi end. Oh, okay. Time after time. Okay, sure. Let's go ahead and save over here. Up there? Okay, well, I guess I'll go back there. And we'll just do that now. Hopefully it's not like another hour. This is back in 2029. Yes! Scream!
Today is April 13th, 2029. And this is the evening news. Unfortunately, I'm sorry. I don't have any news to read.
Really? Because all that screaming says otherwise.
All of our station's reporters have passed after contracting Radical 6.
You should probably not be there then.
So have my... Excuse me. I've managed to keep us on the air until now. But I'm out of tricks. It's time for me to sign off. This concludes our broadcast day. I pray that someday our world can be cleansed of this horrible plague. Goodbye.
Bye. Oh! That's one hell of a sign-off. For a moment, I just stared at the TV. The roar of the static seemed to fill the entire room until with a click it disappeared too. Had the power gone out? I heard footsteps behind me and turned around. You. Kane?
It looks like the first step was successful.
What the fuck? You killed me!
Killed?
I guess technically you were going to kill my 45, kill me 45 years from now, but still.
Hey, no need to be rude about
Kick
it.
her in the throat!
I didn't kill you. I hit you with the butt of the knife. You're fine.
I'm okay?
Yes. You and Phi needed to experience a state of crisis. That was the only way.
Me and Phi?
Yes. I only told you about you, but we also needed Phi to jump. Now, you know what happens next, right?
No. We go to the moon?
Correct. We will be leaving tomorrow, April 14th, 2029. We've nearly finished preparing your shuttle. Only a few last-minute checks and additions. You'll be traveling to Rhizome 9, along with 3 treatment pods.
Alice and Clover, right?
Yes.
What about the third one? Who's in there?
Phi. We put her into cold sleep 2 days ago. She appeared at our headquarters and volunteered to be frozen. That wasn't the Phi who jumped from Point C, though. It was Phi before she jumped from Point A to Point D.
Okay.
In other words, she was following the same path you are. And she still is.
Then that means that after you froze her, the Point C version of her jumped back into her body?
Yes. The Point C version of Phi is sleeping in that pod. She'll stay there for the next 45 years,
Oh, that sucks.
sleeping in ice.
Then when she gets to point B, your consciousness will jump to point A, right?
Correct.
Huh, so that's why she didn't look old. So why don't you just stick me in one of those
You
pods?
can't do that.
Why not?
You haven't figured it out? You have to spend the next 45 years working on the AB project.
Well, that's bullshit.
After arriving at Rhizome 9, you must master genetic engineering and artificial intelligence programming, among other disciplines. Otherwise, you will be unable to create Kyle, Luna, and Lagomorph.
Okay, we gotta think of a different name aside from Lagomorph, and we're creating Luna first.
And, of course, you will need to develop the chromatic doors and the bracelets. You will also be the person who summons Tenmyoji and Quark. Once you've completed all the preparations, then the project can actually begin.
Can you write this shit down?
January 25th, 2074. You will defrost Phi and carry her to the third AB room. Once you've done that, the 22-year-old version of you from point A will force you out. And you'll just go back 45 years to your own body on December 25th, 2028.
And then I changed history. Do you really think I can keep the virus from getting out?
You have to. If you don't, billions of people will die.
I mean, it seems like billions of people are already dying right now.
Only you and Phi can save them.
What about you? Aren't you an Esper too?
I can't do anything on my own.
That is very apparent.
If this is going to work, I'll need your help.
So, what do I need to do?
What do you mean?
Like, what specific actions do I need to take? When Phi and I jump to point A, what are we going to do
You'll
then?
both enter the Mars mission test site.
And after that?
I don't know.
What?
I'm sorry. I really don't know anything about what happens in there. We don't know how the Radical Six escaped. We don't even know why it was there in the first place.
Ah, crap. Then we're screwed.
That's why we need your help. You have the ability to jump through time and across parallel worlds. We need you to figure out what happened in that test facility. Things will be difficult, and I'm sure you will find yourself in a great deal of danger.
I like it more than what we just did.
But I believe the two of you can overcome any obstacle.
Wait, how do you know it's so dangerous?
The 67-year-old version of you told me what happened. He wasn't able to stop the virus. So I suppose you could say you told me after you failed.
What did I say?
The test facility is full of traps. There was one point. A woman's life was in danger. You risked yourself for her sake, and lost your arms and your right eye.
My arms and my right eye. Oh, Jesus Christ, man! I'm the Terminator! What the hell? Suddenly, a low rumble shook the building. What was that?
I'll have a look.
The reactor's blowing up? I moved slowly to the window and peered outside. On the horizon, I could see a massive mushroom cloud climbing slowly towards the sky. Would we really be able to change the course of history? No, that was the wrong way to look at it. It couldn't be a question. I had to change history. We could save the world. I'm going to change history. I stared at the darkening skies above us and steeled myself. I would succeed. Or become a cyborg trying. You gonna show me the credits again? End or beginning? Fire and ice. Sure. Okay. Is that it? Are we done? Are we done? We're done. We're done? Alright, cool. I really... Okay.
I see you've finally woken up, Kyle.
Kyle?
Ah, yes. Of course. You've only just woken up in this timeline. It's only natural for some of your memories to be missing.
I lurched upright, jumped off the bed, and ran around to the other side of the pantry partition. The mirror over the sink was covered with a film of dust. I wiped it off with my sleeve, and my reflection stared back at me. But apparently it was that reflection. Okay. What, you couldn't just draw a picture of Sigma's face? There was no mistake. The reflection belonged to...
Kyle Climb. So, I'm Dr. Climb? Zero Senior's clone?
What? How do you know that? Shouldn't you still be suffering from amnesia?
An excellent question, one I didn't quite know the answer to myself. I knew who Kyle Clem was. In another history, he had been called K and had wait, did Sigma... Did old-ass Sigma jump into, like, Kyle's body? He hadn't just worn the armor in that history, though. Apparently, he had worn it all his life. Kyle had been born and raised in the lunar installation, which seemed to be called Rhizome 9. Rather late in his life, Connie appeared as a mother figure, and he had consequently grown very attached to her. I knew everything about him, but even though I knew it, I didn't feel it. Was I really Kyle Clem? Every time I looked in the mirror, I saw his face. The spitting image of Sigma Clem in his younger days. I looked down. There was Dio still handcuffed. I turned my back around to Luna.
What day is today?
January 27th, 2074.
Today is the last day of the AB project. Akane has explained everything in the garden. And she drew a knife and attacked Phi. How long have I been asleep?
About 5 hours in real time. For them, it would have seemed like a little more than 2 hours.
So they still haven't been treated for their Radical 6?
No, they've all been given the antiviral.
Cool.
It just takes a while to have an effect.
I see. So the consciousness of the younger Sigma has gone back into the past. It should have happened right after Akane attacked Phi, right?
Yes.
Why am I here?
The doctor carried you back here.
Zero Doctor? Like Sigma Doctor?
You were in the pod in the garden.
Because they both are too old to actually do
So
that.
the person you call the Doctor is Sigma Climb, as inhabited by his age-appropriate consciousness.
Yes, but how do you know that?
Dio seems to have remained unconscious.
Yes, I've been administering Soparil whenever he gets restless.
You can overdose him. Do it.
What about the others?
They've all gone off to different areas. Tenmyoji and Quark, for instance.
Oh, right! Mr. Climb!
So the sleepyhead's finally up, huh?
What are you two doing here?
You don't know where we are?
This is the upper floor of the pressure exchange chamber. The real one.
Mm-hmm.
We were just about to get dressed and head out.
Where are you going?
You plan to return then? To Earth, I mean.
Yeah.
Sigma told us where we could find the shuttle that brought us here. Well, guess he's not really the Sigma I knew anymore. He's Dr. Climb now, or Zero Senior, depending on how you look at it.
Why?
What do you mean, why?
Well, I'm just curious why you would choose to return to a devastated planet when you could stay here.
How's staying here gonna help? You aren't gonna say something idiotic about how we should wait here until Sigma changes the past, are you?
Nah, that'll be a different timeline. You guys are still fucked.
You can't wait for something that's already happened. Grammar doesn't work that way. Hell, nature doesn't work that way. You following me? We've already lived through history. Sigma failed to keep the virus from getting out. About 45 years ago, Radical 6 created a pandemic, and the antimatter reactors blew up. Whatever Sigma does in the past, history's not gonna change. In fact, it's because of what he did, or didn't do in the past, that we've got this past and present. Let me give you an example. Imagine a group of 100 motorcycles driving down an endless freeway.
Sounds probably fun for a little bit, but if it's endless, it's gonna be boring real fast.
Eventually, they hit a junction. The road splits in two. One freeway continues
Not
off
fucking
to the
endless
west,
then, is it?
and the other stretches out to the northeast. So one guy, we'll call him S, pipes up. Let's go northwest, he says. So they take the northwestern road. But about a mile past the intersection, something horrible happens. A semi driving the other way veers into their lane and plows through the bikers.
My God.
90 of them die.
That's not that many.
The surviving 10 are wounded, but survive.
Okay, that is a lot.
They don't stop, though. They keep riding down that highway, and eventually they'd gone 10,000 miles. Then suddenly, something happens that they couldn't have predicted. S, who had survived, suddenly has his consciousness thrown back in time. He ends up back in his own body just before they reach the junction. He remembers everything. So what does S do? What anybody would do. Let's go northeast. That means all 100 of the bikers survive to reach their destination, happy and healthy.
In that timeline.
And they all live happily ever after. That's what you're thinking, right? It's a great outcome for the 100 bikers that went northeast. But what about the 10 that went northwest and survived the accident?
Huh? Wouldn't it be 9 people? I mean, S's mind went back in time, right?
Right, okay. 9 people. What happens to the reality they were living? Does it just disappear when S changes the past? It's not as if it was only bad things that happened during that 10,000-mile trip. Maybe one of them fell in love with a woman working at a gas station they stopped at and had a child. Maybe one of them picked up a homeless kid who joined them on their adventure.
Glancing over at Quark.
A 10,000-mile journey would be full of stories. Friendships, farewells, romances. The loss of those 90 lives is horrible and unfortunate. But what would rewriting their history mean? The 9 who survived lived full lives. How can it be right to just erase all that? The survivors overcame their own misery and loss and made the best they could of the hand they'd been dealt. Isn't that worth something? Isn't that the best thing that humans can aspire to?
I mean, realistically, yes.
Is there really any point to a world where everything is happy?
Well, yes, absolutely, but getting over tragedy and building towards the future is exactly what humans should do when something bad happens. They shouldn't let it control them, ruin their lives. They should try the best to stand up and move forward.
Are people who struggle for a better life just idiots?
No, there's nothing to do with what you're talking about,
Being
but fine.
human is about fighting, even when it seems hopeless, and finding happiness, even in a world that hates it. Are you saying that's worthless? If you're saying rewriting the past will erase all these other timelines, then whatever God wrote those rules can Look, I'm just not going to accept that, all right? You get it?
If Sigma changes the past, then you and Quark will never meet.
Is he right?
No, it's not going to happen. We're here right now. This is reality.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's more of just going to be alternate timelines.
Even if Sigma does change the past, we're not just going to disappear or something.
Oh, then that means we get to stay together? Good.
Thanks, kid.
I understand how you feel. Why you want to return to Earth is clear. You have lives there, I imagine. There are likely people waiting for you.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Have you already said goodbye to the others?
Bye, Luna, Alice, and Clover all saw us off. We told them we'd see them again someday, and then came here.
They were the only people you want to say goodbye to?
No point saying anything to Dio.
You can kick him a little bit.
Besides, he's asleep.
You can kick him, though.
You were asleep, too.
Sorry, but we didn't really know much about you.
You have a point. Akane was in the armor in this timeline, after all. What about Sigma?
Well, he's not really Mr. Sigma anymore.
Of course. He is Dr. Klein now that his consciousness has returned.
Yeah, but more importantly, he's the guy who brought us all here. Not a lot of warm feelings there, you know?
Yeah, totally get it.
And Akane?
Never mind her. She's just like him. Not the Akane I knew.
Yeah.
She must have seen some pretty awful things over the years. Hell, she might not even be human anymore. But the Akane Kurashiki I know isn't here. She's not anywhere.
Oh, that's sad.
In the end, Clover and I were just pawns. Pawns to be used and then gotten rid of. Still, it's not like we're completely resentful.
You should be.
We had to be here to help change the past. That part's easy to understand. But
kinda sucks, though. I mean, Sigma and Phi have it easy. They get to go back to December 25th in 2028.
Yeah, you guys don't have that option, huh?
They'll stop the Radical 6, and save the world, and then they'll have a nice, normal future to look forward to. In other words, they get to go back to Point E and just enjoy history like it was supposed to happen.
But we don't. We're stuck with Point C as our starting point.
You told us about Tenmyoji's story, right? The one with the motorcycles? It would be like if Alice and I were kidnapped right before the intersection. Then whoever grabbed us takes us to wherever the bikers are going, 10,000 miles to the northwest.
I actually do feel kind of bad for you guys. Like, you're never going to see your brother again, probably, right? There's very little chance that he's still alive. Alice, I have no idea if you had any family left, right? Was your mother still alive? I know your dad's dead. You probably didn't have any friends given your personality, but I don't know, maybe you had cousins or something.
Don't get us wrong. We know why we had to be here. Without us, S's consciousness wouldn't have been able to go back to right before the intersection.
S's?
If that couldn't happen, then the fate of those 90 dead bikers
the
would
Ten
be
story, right. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, Sigma.
But it's still not the best situation for those of us left in the Northwest. We're stuck in the reality where the 90 bikers died.
Are we just supposed to go live on Earth? It's a wasteland now.
Oh, you gonna do Fallout?
And what about our friends and families?
They're all dead.
We left a whole world behind 45 years ago.
Even if it is for the greater good?
It just doesn't seem fair, does it?
No.
Yeah, it's a little bit much.
So we went and talked to the old lady.
She told us that there is one way.
One way we could get back to the past.
Let's say you do go back to the past.
Is there like legitimate time travel now?
Wouldn't that cause your minds to get thrown back here? That seemed to be how Sigma and Phi's jumps worked, at least.
Yes, you're right.
But this is different.
Different.
From what she said, it sounds like there's a way we can send our bodies back in time, too.
That's ridiculous. It would create a paradox. How could you have 2 Clovers and 2 Alices at the same time?
God, I can already see the fanfics.
But that wouldn't happen.
Akane says there's a way around that.
How on earth does she plan to do that?
Schrodinger's
cat.
That makes no sense. High five.
Oh, hey, Kyle. Figured you'd come here eventually.
Where's Dr. Klein? Luna said you were with him.
He said he was tired, so he's off resting right now.
He is an old man.
There's a bedroom at the end of the hallway. He's in there if you're curious. Oh, right. He told me to turn on this hologram projector thing when you showed up. Want me to start it?
Sure.
Glad to see you. There isn't anything in particular that I have to tell you. However, I imagine there are a great number of things weighing on your mind.
Am I Kyle or am I someone else? That's what's weighing on my mind.
I'd love to answer all your questions, but unfortunately, my circumstances make that an impossibility.
Because I would figure if he's a clone of Sigma, he has the ability to jump through time as well.
I hope you can forgive me. Everything I know, Phi should also know. I have instructed her to answer any questions anyone might have. Anyone other than Kyle, that is.
What does he mean, other than Kyle?
Who knows? Is there anything you want to ask?
Right, well, I guess I may as well cut to the chase. Just who are you, Phi?
I'm not Superman, that's for sure. And I'm not Batman or Spider-Man or Aquaman or a merman or a wolfman.
What?
I'm not a Brahmin or Kamen or Ramen. I'm not a
That's a
king
shame.
either,
Ramen's
so you really
good.
don't need to worry about anything.
Please don't dodge the question. About 5 hours ago, Akane attacked you with a knife. That triggered something which sent your mind back to the past, correct? Specifically, you were sent to Point D, April 13th, 2029. On that date, your body was already in Akane's custody. Although by then you were in cold sleep. You wouldn't have regained consciousness, but your mind was now inhabiting that body.
Hopefully not, like, actively, because that would be horrible. Being stuck for 45 years without having to, like, being able to do anything and knowing it.
That pod was your home for 45 years. You slept there, frozen, until the time was right. Then on January 25th, 2074, you were finally thawed out, even though you didn't wake up. Still unconscious, you were carried to the AB room. that was when your consciousness changed bodies again. A version of you from December 25th, 2028 arrived, pushing you out and sending you back to December 25th, 2028. This is when you finally woke up. In 2028, you found and joined forces with Sigma, whose older mind was inhabiting his younger body. Together, you attempted to infiltrate the Mars mission test facility. Unfortunately, your plan failed. The Radical Six did escape on New Year's Eve. That failure determined the path you followed. Instead of going along the line that branches out to the right from point E, you headed straight to point D. Point D being April 13th of the following year. That was the day that you made your way to Akane's hideout and asked to be put into one of the treatment pods.
And they were just like, okay, sure.
Another consciousness enters your body around that time from the future. It is, of course, the version of you that left your body when Akane attacked you in the garden. This caused the two versions of you to swap places. And you moved 45 years into the future, where you woke up on the garden floor. That put you on the line that comes here. So if we discount the time you spent in cold sleep, for you, only 3.5 months have passed since that happened. That being when you were sent back into the past from the garden. Have I missed anything?
No, everything you talked about you got right.
Cool.
Well, what do you mean by that?
I'm kind of an unknown variable in this equation. You could think of me as a kind of X factor.
Yo, you dealing with the X factor?
It's taken me the last 3.5 months to understand it.
I haven't understood anything in the last 3.5 seconds. Could you please explain?
It's kind of like the relationship between classical mechanics and modern physics. Strictly speaking, you can't combine velocities with v1 plus v2.
I guess?
v1 plus v2 divided by 1 plus v1 times v2 over c squared is the actual equation.
Yeah, okay, sure.
Of course, the sort of velocities we encounter in day-to-day life don't come close to being c squared, which is the speed of light squared. That means that 1 plus v1 times v2 divided
Okay, you're just trying to fucking confuse me now. It's already been almost 2 hours.
Close to 1. Since that would mean dividing by 1, it's usually okay to just skip that step and use v1 plus v2. You see what I'm saying?
No!
In most situations, it works, even if it isn't technically correct. So you knew enough to get the stuff you were talking about right. As long as you stick to that, you won't run into any problems.
I don't quite understand.
You and me both, brother.
In fact, I feel like you're dodging my questions.
So was that what you wanted to ask about?
No. What I really want to know is what happened between Christmas and New Year's Eve in 2028. You and Sigma infiltrated the Mars mission test site, didn't you?
Yes.
What happened there? How did Sigma lose his eye and both his arms? And why was Radical 6 in there in the first place? What could a deadly virus have to do with the simulated mission to space?
Sorry, but I can't tell you that.
Boo!
Why?
Because it would change history. There is a history where the virus didn't escape. That's the line that goes to the right of point E. In that timeline, humanity isn't heading for annihilation, and Earth isn't red. The future is much brighter. But if I tell you what you're asking me right now, then that reality will disappear. You understand?
No.
I don't. Why would all of that disappear if you told me what I want to know?
You're about to go back to the past, right?
Play the video games that suck ass?
The past? Don't be silly. I can't do that.
Then where the hell did you learn all this stuff? I just listened to you tell me a bunch of things you shouldn't have known about. You were sleeping in the pod in the garden. You just woke up. So how can you know all this? You know my past. Sigma's past.
I don't know. I kind of think Kyle would have enough.
I shall give you your answer.
Oh, cool.
You are not Kyle Climb.
Okay, who am I?
Your body is Kyle's, but your consciousness is not.
Is he alright?
Think about it. Do you really believe you are Kyle? Or could you be someone else entirely?
Then, where is the real Kyle's consciousness?
He was thrown out when you entered. Right now, in a manner of speaking, he has arrived at December 25th. 2028. His consciousness has gone into a body from that time.
Okay, wait.
I doubt you know how much the doctor loves Kyle.
Like, not at all?
He raised him on his own.
Barely, from the sounds of it.
Kyle is irreplaceable. Do you really think he would go back to the past and leave Kyle behind here? I know what I told the others, that Kyle was Dr. Climb's spare, but that was not his only purpose. Kyle's consciousness is integral to what we are trying to accomplish. This new mission begins on Christmas and ends on New Year's Eve 2028. Its purpose will be to infiltrate the test facility and prevent the spread of the virus. For this to happen, Kyle is absolutely necessary.
Well, who'd he jump into?
And that is why he created him?
Yes.
So now that my consciousness has entered his body, the Doctor has achieved his objective. Kyle has gone back to 2028 to participate in his mission.
Correct.
There's one thing that troubles me. Kyle was created before reaching point B from point D. That means his body did not exist on Christmas in 2028. Does that mean he has entered my body? Have we just switched places?
Am I like Sigma?
I suppose you could put it that way, yes.
That's ridiculous. What's going to happen to me? You telling me I have to spend the rest of my life here in this box, living in a borrowed body?
No, not at all. You can travel freely through time and space. You are an uncontrolled variable that entered our closed system. As such, the rules of this world do not apply to you.
Sweet. I hate rules.
I have no idea what...
Please don't try to play dumb. I know what you are. Surely you must know by now, too. You are about to go into the past and save the world. Phi and Sigma, even with all of his future knowledge, will need your help. Only you can right the horrible wrongs of our past. Only you can save the world.
I don't know what you're talking about. Like, who am I, though?
There's no way I...
Yes, there is. You have to. Don't you want to know the truth? Don't you want to know what happened in between Christmas?
Is this a sales pitch for the third game? Like...
2028?
Well, yes, I do, but...
Then you must believe. Reality is shaped by what we believe reality should be.
That's not exactly right, but sure.
Observation can change the motion of a particle. Then how is it odd to think that human thought can shape reality? Your will can change history. The world will be reshaped into the one you imagine. Remember what I've told you. Only you can change history.
And prevent forest fires.
Only you can save the world.
Am I the cheerleader? Alternate end. Certain point of view, you found it. Okay, sure. Is that it? I'm gonna have to split this up if it goes on any longer. I don't see anything new. Oh my god. Okay. I'm mostly just confused. Okay. So I'm assuming the changing the world stuff is going to come through in the third game at some point, which I'll get to eventually, almost surely. There's going to be a break, though. I enjoyed the game. The voice acting was fantastic. The animations on the the people, though, were pretty bad when it came to talking. Like, they were really bad. Story's confusing as all hell. I really don't know what they mean about that whole cat in the box thing. Because I'm pretty sure the cat would just not be alive from the lack of oxygen. But, yeah. It is a good game. That dice puzzle, though, pissed me off. I do wish the pacing was a little bit... no, it's one of those games, you know. I mentioned this in the update where I'm like, I feel like I should sometimes just like either play a lot of a series before I start uploading it. Because I feel like if I just sat down for like a week or two and just, this was like all I was recording, I wouldn't be as confused as I am most of the time. Like I wouldn't have forgotten a lot of the story points. Because we've been doing this for what? This is episode 70 if I don't split it up from this 2-hour recording session. But yeah, it's one of those things like, I feel like I probably would have understood it a little bit more at the end here. I mean, a lot of the stuff I do remember, obviously. We got those gold files that I could read. Maybe there'll be a special episode at some point for that. I don't know. I kind of feel like we missed the boat on that one. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, no, I thoroughly enjoy the game. This game was actually voted on for the Patreon series. So that means with the ending of this one, there's going to be another Patreon series coming up. By the time I upload this one, there'll be a poll over at patreon.com/chronosplays if you're interested in taking part of that. But yeah, I guess we'll go ahead and we'll call it here. I don't see anything else for us to do aside from reading those golden files, which I think at this point it will either just be another episode, special episode, or something I do in my free time. But yeah, thank you all for who joined me on this long escape room game, or series, really. We did 2 of them. We did 999 in this one. Like I said before, probably going to be a little bit of time before the 3rd one shows up, but it will happen eventually. Yeah, again, thanks for watching me and the series, and I will see you all in the next episode or video. Bye.